Requesting all the alumni to turn their cameras on. We will begin with the session now. A very good afternoon to everyone who has joined us today. Sit back and immerse yourself for the final lap and the sixth session of the College Prep 101 series. This is Sarvi,
And I'm Ananya.
and we will be hosting today's session.
To begin, I'd like to provide a brief overview of the College Prep 101 series. This alumni meet was created by JSSIS students under the supervision of our school counselor, Ms. Alfia Kausar. And the goal of the program is to bridge the gap between our alumni and present JSSIS students. To provide us with an understanding of the significance of our school years in shaping the foundation of our identities, the college admissions process, the campus life, the transition from high school to college, I'm sure we're all having trouble navigating this roller coaster trip. And this is our attempt to make this hectic process a little less stressful by providing you a ticket of sorts to your dream university.
We'd also like to remind you that the final 15 minutes will be devoted to a question and answer session. You may put your doubts and questions in the chat box and we will address them. Please refrain from speaking to ensure a smooth session. Let's begin with today's session. Today we will be covering the admission process for the UAE. Let me introduce our alumni speakers. Rida Taskeen, who's studying medicine at Gulf Medical University, Ajman. Then we have Nazeem Jaleel, who is pursuing international business management at Heriott University, Dubai. And finally, Ayushi Chawla, who is studying creative writing and journalism at Middlesex University in Dubai.
So, to start off, I just want to inform you that these questions will be directed to all of you so that if anyone misses out a point, you can always add on.
I would now like to request the alumni to switch on their videos. Everyone's done that. And first of all, the question that I think everyone's wondering is why did you choose to study and stay back in the UAE?
Shall I go in first with that?
Yes.
Okay. Like Sarvi gave an introduction, I'm doing my medicine in Gulf Medical University, and UAE was my first option to pursue medicine, especially because of the course that I am taking in GMU. So this course is called HDPCS. Okay, HDPCS is a higher diploma in preclinical sciences, and this gives students a chance to finish the first 3 years in UAE. So you do your education and your basic learning in UAE, and then I will be pursuing my fourth, fifth, and sixth year in Poland, which is in Europe. So, over there, you get to treat patients, you get to interact with patients, and you get your exposure over there. So, when I was applying this course, this particular HTPCS course really fit in my needs and requirements back then. So, that is why I chose this. And when it comes to healthcare, UAE has set very high standards for education, as well as healthcare industry is evolving every single day. So the technologies and the facilities and the exposure that you get is as great as any exposure that you would get outside in Europe or the UK. So that is why I chose to pursue my medicine over here in UAE and stay back.
Okay, so it was a last minute thing for me. I was supposed to end up in India, but something happened and I just started looking out for universities here and yeah, I got in and I started studying. Yeah.
It was a fact. I got to spend. It's also cheap than studying abroad. Ayushi, you're not audible. Like your voice is very low. Am I audible now? Still really low and muffled. Nope. How about I try to sort this out? Let's move on to the. Yeah, sure.
Okay, next question to you guys will be: did you guys only apply to one country, and what were your subjects in high school?
So basically, I did the commerce stream with psychology and I wasn't sure what to do. So I knew it had to be something in the business side. So uh, I did apply to India, Malaysia, and I think UAE. Yeah.
I applied to actually three countries. Like I said, UAE was my first option, and I applied to around four universities in Europe that were two in Poland and two in Hungary, and I applied to around two unis in UK. And my subjects in high school were science and maths.
My subjects in high school, 9th and 10th, were science, math, and sociology. And I only applied to the UAE, decided which countries. Then I applied to university. Um, and I actually only applied to one university. There's only one was Middlesex. Ayushi, your voice is still low and it's like getting caught in between. Yes, and continue. Can you leave and join again? Yeah, of course. Okay, so till Ayushi rejoins, we'll move on with the session. The next question is particularly for Nazeem and Ayushi. Ayushi can answer once she's back. Do your universities have partner programs with the original campuses in UK, like how Rida's does have a program back in Poland the next last 3 years of her course?
Yes. So basically, my university was Scottish. I went to Heriott. So you have a 2+2 program, but you can also do like 1 year abroad. So the 2+2 is basically you do 2 years in Dubai, 2 years in Edinburgh. But the thing is, you know, in terms of the program, you can also like skip a year in Heriot. So I directly joined second year. So I didn't do my first year. So you can that also qualifies for 2+2. So you start with your second year, you finish it, and you can do your third and fourth in Edinburgh. And wherever you graduate from, your degree is from UK. It's accredited from there. Sorry, Scotland. Yeah.
So our next question is from when did you start your college application process and what were the first steps and were there anything like was there anything particular for the course you applied for?
Okay. So basically, in terms of my course and application process, like since it was last minute thing, I applied after I got my boards course. So I used that. I applied to I think three to four over here. I got into AUS and then I got into Heriot. But AUS was a 4 year course, and if you mess around with the scholarship, then it's really difficult to keep it up. So I chose Heriot because I also wanted to do a transfer program, but then COVID hit and I got stuck here. So in terms of like application process in Dubai, it's not too difficult. I think if you want to get into Wollongong, you need to write TOEFL, and it's similar to in AUS too. But in Heriot, there's not much. You can just go there. You can speak to the admission people, and they'll sort it out for you.
Okay. For medicine, it's quite different actually. You need to have a very good CV and a profile if you want to pursue medicine over here, or actually medicine anywhere. Your CV really needs to be uh, one of the best. So I started my application process in the end of December 2021, and I think it was right before my board exams. So when you're applying to unis, you need to have your five basic documents, which is of course your Emirates ID, passport copy, and you need your 10th and 11th final grade results. And once you start applying to universities, that would be before your 12th grade board results come out. So you need to take your high school 12th grade predicted marks, which will be given to you by your subject teachers. So for me, I needed that. But now when we come to medicine especially, there are two more things that the admission officers look for, and that is exposure. So it's not just about marks when it comes to this, right? You need to have good CV, and for that you need to do a lot of volunteering works and something called as doctor shadowing. Volunteering works, you can go online and register yourself, and you can get quite a lot of opportunities to volunteer around here in UAE, and then you get certificates which you can add up to your CV and build your profile. And the second thing is doctor shadowing. Doctor shadowing is where you spend a week or more with a doctor to see how the lifestyle is around the hospital, the patient interaction, and how they treat patients and everything. That increases your exposure also, and you really get to know if you want to do this in the future or not. So, building up all of this and keeping all of this together, then you can start applying to universities in UAE or even abroad.
A quick follow-up question to Rida.
Yeah.
Is there anything in particular that your university looked for? Was there anything in particular that you feel like that was the thing that got you in?
In particular, each university, they do look for your volunteering works, but every university has some entrance exams. I'm pretty sure all of you know about it. Every uni has their main entrance exams. You just need to clear that, and if you get good marks in that, you're into that university. But your question mainly, yes, you need to have good volunteering works and a very good CV.
Hi, is this better
Yeah.
Yes,
audio-wise?
much better.
Okay, so could you just like, repeat the question for me? I think I joined halfway.
There was a question prior to this, which was, do your universities have partner programs divided with the original campuses in UK?
Yes, so Middlesex University has a internal transfer program which you can undertake in your second or third year, where you go and study in either London, Mauritius, or Malta, sorry. Um, and the process for that is you need to go to the campus central, which is the campus help desk, which is on campus. Um, and they will guide you in the process where you have to apply for the visa, get your IELTS done, etc., etc.
Great. The question we were discussing right now is, when did you start your college application process and what were the first steps for the same?
So I applied in 2022, which is the same year I started my course. And the application process was completely online. It's on their website. It's the apply now button. They will guide you through 5 different stages of surrendering your details, uploading supporting documents, and your visa status and stuff. They will discuss it with you. And I also did a optional tour of my campus, which is one thing I'd recommend doing because you are in the UAE, you do have access to your campus. So I'd say, go there, give it a visit, see the feel, the vibe. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for your answers, all of y'all. And just moving on with the next question. This is particularly to Zida. Why did you choose to study medicine? Thinking the fact that it takes such a long time, as well as it's such a tolling course. And also, did you have to write NEET, MSAT, or any other competitive exams to get an admission?
That's a really great question. Yes, it does take a long time to finish medicine. But if you, this is not just for medicine. If you are really passionate and if you're really interested to, pursue your career in a particular field, let it be medicine, engineering, business. If you are passionate about it, then the time and the effort that it takes in does not matter. So for me particularly, I wanted to do medicine because I had that desire to, make a positive impact on people's life. And just, every medicine is a very complex and ever evolving field also. You have a lot of opportunities later onwards as any healthcare professionals. So this widens up your entire aspect. You do not, it's not just medicine, healthcare professions, it has medicine, dentistry, pharma, nursing, there's a lot of things. So later on also in the future, you have a lot of careers in the healthcare profession. So the long duration is undoubtedly a factor, but your commitment and the fulfillment and the desire that you have, it should outweigh that thought of having a long process. Because once you get into medicine, it is something you have for the rest of your life. It's not just like a 5 year 4 year course that you're done with it and then move on with like another aspect of your life. Once you're into this, you have it for the rest of your life. So if you're passionate about it, you have that interest, it outweighs, like I said, the duration of the course. And I did write my NEET and MSAT. NEET and MSAT I wrote after my 12th board exams. NEET is a requirement, as you all know, mainly for students pursuing medicine in India. But the one thing why students abroad or NRIs they choose to write NEET is because later on, after the completion of 6 years of medicine, if you want to go and pursue medicine back in India, you need to have qualified NEET. NEET is a basic requirement. If you have not given your NEET, you have not qualified NEET, you will not be able to get the exposure and get the practice in India. So that is why I would, many people also, including me, would recommend everyone who wants to do medicine to write NEET, because it's simple to clear NEET. And once you have that, you don't have to go through the tiring and the complex process to practice in India. And MSAT is a basic requirement for every university, because MSAT is like, it's like an exam. How NEET is in India, it's like MSAT over here. You need to clear MSAT to pursue your education in the UAE.
Right. Could you provide more details on about MSAT particularly? Because I think NEET is something everyone knows about. It's very
Mm-hmm.
popular. And just the next follow-up question on your answer, that if you have to move to India midway
Mm-hmm.
of your course, how will your course take shape? And what's the benefit of doing medicine in UAE compared to abroad or back in India?
Okay, so MSAT, more info on MSAT. MSAT is an MCQ exam. Like I said, it's like NEET, so you have around 60 to 90 questions depending on what subject your university wants you to do. So for me, my uni wanted me to finish MSAT for biology, chemistry, and physics, maths, 4 papers. So you have your 10th and your 12th grade portions coming for these exams. So you need to be very thorough with everything you've studied in 10th and everything you studied in 12th to clear this exam. It is simple, direct questions, and they provide like a digital calculator and a digital logbook to help you clear or help you, get your answers. So it is quite a simple exam, but you need to qualify this to study in UAE. And if you shift your course midway and go to India, like I said, NEET, very important. If you want to shift to India, you need to have qualified NEET. So if you ever have the thought of ever going back to India and continuing in any university there, you need to be sure that you have qualified NEET first. And in India, the medicine process is quite complicated. Okay, depending on your NEET marks, there's a certain range of marks that are given, right? There is something below 350. If you get your NEET marks below 350, there are government universities assigned to you. If you get more than 350, around 350 to 600 in your NEET, then you can choose your university. They give you a list of universities that you can apply to. And anything above that, then it's AIMS. So, if it's not easy to leave UAE midway and go and continue in India, if you are sure that you want to do it in India, then right from the beginning, pursue your medicine in India. But if you're sure about doing it in UAE, then finish it because it is a long process, right? So finish all of that in one country itself is what I would suggest.
Thank you, Rida. My next question is directed to Ayushi. Considering your course is not one that people opt for commonly, what does your course outline look like?
So it's a 3-year course, full time. and it's divided between two subjects. One of them is creative writing and one of them is journalism, and it's divided 50-50. There's not a different ratio. I expected something different coming into it, but it is like fully 50-50. You're going to have four modules. Two of them will be creative writing modules, and two of them will be journalism based modules. In the journalism based modules, you'll have journalism skills, which is practical journalism, reporting, writing, and such. And you'll also have the module what is journalism, which is uh, more theory based. And under creative writing, you have um, writing creatively, which is the name of the module, where it's more different sort of stuff you might study in English. And you have character conflict and dialogue, which is about more writing stuff, scripts for movies or plays and such. um, and yeah.
Thank you, Ayushi. This next question is for again you and Nazeem. Did you guys have to write any competitive exams to get into your universities?
Hello?
Yes, Nazeem, you're audible. Go on.
No. To get into Heriott, what all you need is your 12th grade score sheets, and they even base your scholarships and everything based on that.
So there's no competitive exam required to get into my course, but I did choose to do the IELTS because it would assist you in your transfer process if you are transferring anywhere else, or if you're transferring even within the university to a different campus for visa requirements. But if you're doing this in your third year, just be aware that the IELTS is only valid for 2 years. So if you're trying to transfer for your third year, you might need to do your IELTS a little bit later. But as such, there was no competitive exam that I had to write.
Thank you for your answers. Moving on, Ayushi answered the question about that. Did you write any language proficiency tests like IELTS or TOEFL? So Nazeem and Rida, you can go on.
Yeah, I did have to clear IELTS. It is also one of the basic requirements for any of the medical universities in UAE. You need to get a 7 out of 9 in your IELTS.
Nazeem, did you have to write IELTS or TOEFL?
No, I did not.
All right. Thank you.
I'd just like to add that
Sure.
for Middlesex University, you need to get above a 65% in your English boards to meet the requirements. That's the number.
Right. Thank you. And what is the variety of courses and universities in UAE? Because it's a misconception that people think there's not a lot of universities or not a lot of courses offered here. So, a first-hand aspect from you guys.
Okay, I would say when it comes to medicine, there in the past 10, 15 years, there has been a wide and a huge development in the healthcare facility. And this, in fact, helps the universities to cope up with the diversity. So there are around 10 top ranked medical universities over here. GMU is one of the top ranked unis here. So that misconception that UAE will not have a broad exposure, it remains a misconception. Trust me, once you get into universities, you will understand that they have a lot to provide and a lot to offer based on your course. So for me over here, yes, we have a lot of hospital exposure. We deal with a lot of technologies and facilities which every student would abroad deal with also. So yeah, they do provide you with the best exposure.
I'd say there is a good variety of university of courses here. Like my university, for example, has a media department, which is what I'm under, an art department, a business department, a whole lot of clubs, law, and such. So it is, yeah, I agree with Rida. It is sort of a misconception that it's limited here, or the scope is not as much. Like for me, my professors are also adjunct professors, means they are also working as journalists or in their respective fields, which also gives you a different insight into what the current uh, scene is like in your industry, which is really useful.
I'd like to
So
add
in
up
terms
to.
of,
Go
no
ahead,
worries, go
Nazeem.
ahead. No, no, that's fine. Carry
Yeah,
on.
the doctors over here also, all of them are graduates from the UK and India. So, it's not that the UAE just promotes their own doctors, you have the doctors from all over the world teaching you.
So in terms of courses, I knew I wanted to do something related to business. So I looked into those courses, and you know that it's everywhere. So for me, I don't know much about the variety, but I know that each universities every year have coming up with various different courses that happens and takes place, you know, every year.
Thank you guys so much for your answers. Our next question is, how is the university experience considering the fact that the campuses are not as big as the ones that you find abroad, How's the campus life? Like, what's the fun stuff?
So when I joined university, I had a semester in university, and after that, COVID hit. So 2 of my years was basically either like mixed of hybrid, so basically learning from home and then at the same time like going to university just for tutorials. But it did give me an opportunity to intern and study at the same time. So the past 2 years before I graduated, I was working and studying. So I was basically already working. So that gave me like an outreach to a good career, I think. So yeah. So in terms of fun, I mean, it's a different sort of thing here. It's not like how you can assume if you are going to go study and start from scratch in a different country.
Okay, over here, there are two misconceptions that I'll have to clear. First, fun in UAE and fun in medicine, because you might think that what fun is there in medicine. But the entire learning process comes along with a lot of, different things. It's not just studies. Like I said, if you really are interested in doing this course, you know, you will see fun, or you will try to like have fun in every learning process that you are in your journey, every learning process in your journey. So the campus over here, yes, you're right, it's not as big as the ones abroad, but at the end of the day, when you're doing medicine, what really matters is the quality of education and the exposure and the facilities that they can provide to you. And you get quite a lot of exposure in the hospitals with the patients, so your exposure is top, it's right up there. And our my university in particular has a lot of fests but related to medicine. It's like breast cancer awareness day, there is diabetes day, where they through a fun learning process explain how exactly these diseases affect you and what is the treatment and the cure for all of this. And apart from that, there are some international fests where not international, inter-school or inter-university, where different universities come together for a sports fest, or there's a dance fest, or there's a singing or a music fest. And my university has around 36 extracurricular clubs, where a few of them are dance, singing, arts, painting, and we have media, creative club, everything. So in a way, yes, there is fun over here in different forms of clubs.
So right now, online is not an option for my university. You need to be there in class or you're marked absent. And we have a whole lot of clubs, sports clubs as well, and they all have their individual coaches, practice times and such, and the And a lot of it is free, so you don't have any sort of like sign up cost or anything like that, which is also a perk. And there's a whole lot of events that happen throughout the academic year, related to different fields or just for fun. We had International Day as well, where a lot of the international students, they made stalls representing their country. There's also sports competitions you can take part in. And yeah, that's sort of a rundown of the activities that happen on campus.
Thank you for thank you for clearing out the myth that the campuses are really really small here, so there's no fun. It's all just boring and just studies. Thanks for that. And moving on to pretty much our last question, that is that what would you advise your juniors to do or not to do after going through the whole stressful process?
So when I got out of school, I didn't know what to do. And there will be points in times where you still don't know what to do. I graduated from university. I am already working, but I'm not sure if I want to stick to this or move to a different career path. But if you're open to explore and if you're passionate about something, or even if you don't know, it's always okay to take a gap year because it will get confusing. It doesn't mean that, okay, you're finishing school, you need to figure out something right now. It'll just come to you eventually.
Yeah, I completely agree with Nazeem. Usually, there's a lot of pressure on you to like decide what you want to do right. Like in 11th and 12th, everyone starts telling that your 12th is going to decide your future, but it's not like that. You need to give yourself some time to really understand what you want to do in the future. And when it's medicine, like I said, it's a lifelong process. So you really need to be sure if you want to do this to actually get into the med school or the universities. But yeah, if you are sure about doing medicines, one thing that I would recommend everyone to do is be sure of the requirements of the unis that you are applying to, because every university, every college has different requirements. So be sure that you match up to those requirements, you match up to the scores that they expect you to get. And every university has different entrance exam dates. Be sure that you know when those entrance exam dates are. Start preparing for them beforehand itself. And if you want to do NEET and MSAT, again, start preparing for that, because I did my NEET very last minute preparation. So I would recommend you guys to like pay more attention to NEET while studying for your 12th. And don't take a lot of stress, just be relaxed, because like Nazeem and I said, that you will never really be sure of what you want to do by the end of 12th also. You will always have those ifs and buts doubts. So just all the best for everything, guys.
Yeah, I do agree with Rita and Nazim. If you need to take time to figure out what you want to do in life, that's perfectly okay. But if you are sure, make sure to plan ahead. So if, like in my case, you are planning on transferring, get those documents ready and in order, figure out the process beforehand. And this is something that I actually wasn't able to do, but I'd recommend you guys do is, if it's applicable for your course, is comparison shop. Weigh out the benefits, the pros and cons of each university. What are they actually studying? Look into the course content, and like make decisions based on that. What you'll be actually learning.
All of this was really insightful as well as very reassuring for us, guys. Thank you so much. We would like to begin with the Q&A session now. As you can see, we have received questions in our chat box and we'll be going ahead with the same.
I'll just read out the questions for all of you. Sneha wants to ask that has any one of you taken a professional career counseling to choose the right courses and any suggestions that we can work with?
Answering Sneha's question, I did take up professional counseling, because it can be quite a tedious process when you are not sure in which country you want to pursue your medicine in, because there are so many countries, so many universities are offering the same things to you. So I took help of a counselor who, shortlisted countries, and then after that we shortlisted which universities in those countries. After you have those universities with you, you need to see that if you match up to their requirements, if your grades match up to those requirements, because universities mainly, they look out for good volunteering work and the shadowing process, and if you really know what medicine is about, that's what they look for. So through a counselor you can get a lot of extra help. um, yeah, if you're applying for medicine, I would recommend get a personal counselor, because then they will give you a lot of exposure to volunteering works available in the country, because you might not have direct contact to get to know which volunteering work is at when. So through a counselor you can get those dates, and the necessary information will be provided to you by the counselor.
Nazeem, Ayushi, you guys want to add on to anything?
I never thought about seeking out a counselor because I didn't plan exactly on going somewhere where the application process was really hectic. So, in terms of like seeking out a counselor, it would really help if you're absolutely like
I think Nazeem's having technical issues. We'll move on with the next question. I'm going to go ahead and club the next two questions where Kavya asked if you guys applied for any scholarships, and Sneha asked if the scholarships are based upon your overall score and are your language scores considered.
So there are two different types of scholarship. Actually, one of them is a grant that I got because Middlesex University and JSS International School are affiliated. So you will be receiving a grant of money. The next is actually a type of scholarship that I got for academic performance. So based on how much you got in your 12th boards, all subjects, they will give you a certain percentage of your fees. So like if you get above 95%, you get like 50% off, and then it diminutes.
it's the same for me. So basically, they checked my 12th grade results, and I also had an academic scholarship. So the max they will give us 50, 50, 40, 30. That's where it ends. So yeah, I had a scholarship too. But again, the scholarship is for 1 year, which is divided into three. So even though it say it's 50, it's not exactly 50, but yeah, it does the job. You also have early bird applications. So like if you apply early, then you basically get a deduction of maybe 4K, 5K, something like that.
Yeah, and I'd also like to add that you do need to maintain certain marks while you're in the university to maintain your scholarship across 3 years. So from in my case, it was an above an 8 in 75% of my modules. It won't make sense right now, like the numbering system, but when you get there, it will. So I'm just letting you guys know.
In my university, it was pretty easy because as long as you pass, which is a D, you can keep up your scholarship. So yeah.
Over here, it's quite a neck to neck competition to receive a scholarship in any of the medical universities in UAE. You need to get around 98% or above to receive a 10% scholarship. That's it. 10% off your actual fees, and that's for just a year.
All right. Thank you. Moving on to Sudeshna's question. For Zida, after studying medicine, what are you thinking of specializing in? And again, Weber's questions for Zida as well. Can we do MBBS in one country and MD in another?
Okay, so the first question, I just finished my first year. So I am not very sure of what I want to specialize in, because I have the next 5 years to decide that. And now, if I, for example, decide that I want to specialize in cardio, for example, uh, what decides in the future for me is my marks then. So after 3 or 4 years, there is a certain exam that you have to write, and that is what matches you. There's something called matching in medicine and your specialization. Okay, so if I want to do cardiology, for example, I need to get, for example, 95% marks, and only if I get something above that or 95, that is when I will get a seat in cardiology. But if I do not get that, then according to the marks that I get, I will be placed in two different fields. So even though you might want to do something else, you might end up doing something completely different, because at the end it depends on your marks. And the second question was, if I finish my MBBS over here, can I pursue my MD somewhere else? Yes, you can totally do that, because that's my plan. After finishing my MBBS over here and in Poland, I plan in taking up my specialization in the US. So again, there is a certain competitive exam for the US that I need to clear. After I clear that, I will be able to go to US and finish my specialization there. So you can finish your MBBS somewhere else, and you can do your MD in a completely different country.
Before we move on to the other questions, there's one more question for Rida, so I'm going to club that in here. What are the scores required for medicine admission in UAE, and what is the divide for getting into medicine in UAE? Is it 50-50 like academics and your extracurriculars, or is there a certain weightage to that?
For that, your 12th grade marks matter the most. You need to get 85. You need to get 85 in your science papers. So your total aggregate of science papers needs to be between 80 and 85. And yeah, 90% of your admission process is going to be it's going to be completely based on your 12th grade marks. But like I said, every university, or every medical university especially, has an entrance exam. Even if you have the marks that they require and you fail to clear the entrance exam, you will not get a seat in the university. So you need to be very clear with the requirements, the percentage, and that is max till 85. 85 or below, 80 to 85 is what you can aim to get into the medical university. And the entrance exams are very important. Along with the entrance exam, there is a new thing with interviews, which are called MMIs. MMIs are multiple mini interviews. This is something which is very new for medical interviews. So if you want to study in a med school, they will ask you some short questions based on ethics. So you need to clear that as well to get an admission in the university.
Thank you, Zida. Moving on to next question. Is it advisable to work while in university? And if yes, at which stage? It's a question for all of you. And for Nazeem, what subjects did you take to get into business studies?
Um, Subjects I did accountancy, commerce, English, psychology, and economics. Yeah, it's been a while, so it's a little bit rusty. But yeah, you don't necessarily have to do any of these subjects to get into business, by the way. You can completely be a science student who wants to pursue business as long as you have your 12th grade. In fact, you don't even need a 12th grade. You can directly also go start your foundation with any of these universities and get a kickstart towards your college degree.
About the working question, you I'm not sure about the other fields, but in medicine especially, you cannot work while studying, because that really affects the time you're going to give to your studies. Um, and later on in 2 years, there are something called rotations that will start, where you will be in different fields of the hospital with different doctors. So you really cannot work while doing all of that. So it's not recommended for medical students to work while studying.
Uh, for journalism or writing, it is fine to work while you're studying, as long as you can give time to your studies. For us, they actually recommended that we get an internship during the summer, whether it be directly related to our field or not. But they recommended that if we do plan to work or do an internship, that we do it during the summertime.
Thank you. Just adding one question that I missed before, that apart from academic scores, what are the other key items students need to be prepared to develop their CVs? And we've got one more question, that is, when is the best time to start preparing for IELTS?
So, my university, the extracurriculars mostly show in your personal statement. So you need to show that you're a well-rounded person, you have a good reason for studying your course, and that you're passionate, and you can show passion to other things as well. So that's the extracurricular part of it. That was during my application at least. And what was the second part of the question? I'm sorry, could you repeat it? The IELTS, right? Okay, so for IELTS, I actually didn't prepare for my IELTS. As if you're fluent in English, if you've done well enough in your boards, and you've paid attention in school, you can get good marks without preparing much. Uh, yeah.
For IELTS, yeah, like Ayushi said, there's no, tedious process to prepare for IELTS. You need to do that before applying to your universities, of course. So I did my IELTS before my 12th board exams because that is when I was applying to universities and I had to submit those documents. And apart from your academics, yes, I mentioned that earlier, you need to have a good CV, and for that, you need to have good volunteering works, good anything related to the medical profession actually. If you can get into a hospital and volunteer there, do that because you get a certificate later onwards and that will help build your profile even more. And shadowing, doctor shadowing, that is it mainly.
We have one final question. This is for the audience. Our Q&A session is now closed. So if there are any questions, we'll be telling you how to redirect them later. So our final question is, what's the deadline for the applications in medicine?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
The deadline for applications for medicine.
Deadlines for applications. Okay, so every university has two phases of applications. It is like the early application and the and it's another application after your board results come out. So every university all across different countries has different application dates. Okay, so all of these, for example, if you are writing your board in 2023, your applications for the universities is going to end in September 2023. So you can apply before that. Um, but I would suggest that you start applying before your 12th board exams itself because it's a long process, and even if you do not get accepted in one university, you can start applying to another. You need to keep backup universities also. Yeah.
Just adding one more question for Zida that I received. That is that are you allowed to do dissections and all over here in the universities? It's there,
Um,
right?
it's there, yes. You start the exposure in the first year itself. You start the dissection of the bodies, but the thing with that is, in if I compare it to India, in India there's a huge exposure. I could never sit to compare it to India because over there you get every student gets one cadaver to themselves. That's how much it's over there. But over here, a group of 400, 500 students have only one cadaver to work on. So that's the only one of the disadvantage.
Right. Thank you. All right, so we're done with our Q&A session. Now we'll just wrap it all up. Thank you, Zida, Nazeem, and Ayushi for taking out time from your busy schedules and joining us today to guide the students on the application process for UAE and sharing your valuable anecdotes and insights from your university experiences. It is indeed inspiring for all of us to pursue our dream careers. I would like to extend my gratitude to our principal, Mrs. Lata Nakla, our headmaster and secondary supervisor, Swami Sir, for their unconditional support. And I would like to lastly thank our school counselor, Miss Alfia Kausar, for her constant guidance and support, and the audience for joining us in today.
I would also like to add that we have shared a feedback form in the chat box, and it's a request for all of you to kindly fill it out. And I would also like to request our alumni to drop their mail IDs in the chat box if they can. So if our students have any questions for you guys, they can redirect it there. We hope this session was we hope this session was very enriching for you guys. It was great for us, and we hope you enjoyed it too. Thank you for joining us today. We have something exciting planned to keep this series going on for an ongoing process, and we'll be sharing more details soon.
All right.
Till then, wishing you a happy weekend. And this is Sazvi
And this is Ananya signing off.
signing off.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much.